It is almost time for mass production in Satisfactory. It's something I'm very excited for, and that is all thanks to sending off the space elevator in the last episode. But in order to realize our dream of mass production, there's one thing we have to get under our belts first, and that is going to be not pipeline engineering. Oh no. We now need to unlock bauxite refinement. That will give us access to aluminium alclad sheets, which in turn will give us Logistics Smart 5, allowing us to transport 780 resources per minute per line, which is a huge improvement over the 480 that we currently have access to. And so from here, we'll be able to start mass producing items to be sent to the different stations. But before we do that, we do need to unlock the hover pack. And before we do that, we do need access to the alclad aluminium sheets. So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to grab these resources to unlock this, and then I'm going to see if we can get the resources for this as well. And hopefully we'll be able to unlock the hover pack, which is going to help us build. Thankfully, we have everything that we need here. So it was 200 heavy modular frames, 200 computers, 500 rubber motors. Oh, it was 250. No, it was 500. 500 motors. 500. That sounds like a lot. 500. Great. Let's unlock the bauxite refinement. Thinking about it, what we should probably do is add the hub here, just so that we have easy access to everything. But we'll probably do that at a later stage. Progress waits for no one, as they say. Okay, let's send this off. Boom. Now we need to do the hover pack. Obviously, we can't send it off just yet. It means I can't even put the stuff in. I thought I could. We need the 100 aluminum alclad sheets. So let's grab some of our 169 coupons. Nice. And we're going to purchase. I'm going to make an exception just so that we can unlock the hover pack early. 2 stacks of aluminium alclad sheets. Oh, we only needed 1. 200 resources, not 100. Anyway, I will unlock this in 10 minutes and we will build that hover pack. You know what? Screw it. We're going to do it now. I have just unlocked the hover pack, and with the hub in hand, now place this there, and we can now build our hover pack. Voila! And thanks to that, we're now going to be able to hover around, which gives us a much better view when building. So if we wanted to now, we could work out the exact position that we wanted to place this in. Maybe there. And as long as we're in the limits of the power, we're able to run this. And we can fly up pretty high as well. The next thing that we need to do is work out where we're going to do our aluminium or aluminum factory and harvest that bauxite. I already think the best node for us to get access to for bauxite is going to be the one that is up here. Goodness me, look at all of these. I've got to get rid of these. Let's just hide them for now. I definitely won't forget about them later on. Anyway, with the bauxite, I think it's actually over here, but we can grab that and send that down to the rocky desert. Now we're going to need coal and silica. We've got silica available under here and the coal, so maybe we take it from here. I think we could actually do it in this slot, this little space here. That could work. Okay, well, let's head over there and check it out. Also, I should note that we have got a little section of notes over here. So the first factory that we need to do is obviously the small aluminium plant that's going to produce the alclad aluminum sheets for us. Then we need to work on our diluted fuel power plant That is going to be over in the blue crater just over here. The only thing with it is it's going to be a big build. So the plan is to eventually do turbo fuel and then onto rocket fuel, and we'll produce all of that here. So we're going to have to do it in compartments. And what's probably going to happen with the future of these videos now is we'll probably break each of the builds down into smaller parts, because it's taken me 50-60 hours of just building in game to get a facility done, and that means that we're not able to get many Let's Play episodes out. So I will try and increase the amount of episodes by reducing the amount that we squeeze into a single episode. Let me know if that's okay with you guys. Can I squeeze in? I can go ahead, I can beat it. So we're going to head over to the rocky desert now and find that slot, that little space for us to build in. Oh, don't force me to wait. And I'm hoping we can just build off this train system. The only concern with this is how we're going to get the bauxite down from the top of the cliff. Normally I do that via elevator, but I think it would be really nice to try and do a train line up there. We need to make sure that it works, that it looks good on the network. Otherwise there's not much point doing it. So we'll try and find a way, I think, of sticking close to the cliffside, which may mean that we need to do some kind of upward spiral with the train line. And that can be particularly difficult, especially if we do it as a blueprint. And that's what I'm going to aim to do with this. And that wasn't so bad. So we're here now. We can either go up to the right or we can stick to the left here. It'd be difficult to go across up there, actually. Maybe what we do is we actually come off here. Let me delete this before I cause an issue with our network. This has the copper as well, which we'd use. Yeah, giving it a little bit more thought, I think this is the perfect spot, as it gives us plenty of room for train logistics as well, looping back onto the circuit. So we will build the aluminum plant here, but first we need to get the bauxite from up here down there. Now I've got the blueprint designer ready. I'm just going to send the rails around the corner here. So the plan is going to be to send the rail up and around this area, under this ramp, and then up along the side of the mountain, and then wrap it around the end. So we are going to need to use a spiral design for that. And, well, if it works, then fantastic, we'll have the system in place. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to rethink everything. Wonderful. Now with that sorted, we can get started on this. Now we need the ramp to be the same height foundation as the one that we've currently got, otherwise we're going to struggle snapping it together. So if we go from here, it needs to be double-sided. Can we... The problem with this is if we do it from here, when we add the 1 meter ramps, we're going to get weird clipping. So we're going to need a smaller than 1 meter height foundation for this. Because you see, this is going to clip over to this side, which will cause a lip like this, which we don't want. So I think, what if I do this with the frame floors? Now the frame floors are 40 centimeters. Despite saying they're 50 centimeters, they're not, they're 40 centimeters. It might just be a small enough incline for us. Okay, let's bring that up to there. There's going to be a little lip, but you see, this is much better than what it would have been. It's barely noticeable. And we'll lift that one up. How does that look? Okay, yeah, tiny lip again, but that's better than what it would have been. So we're going to keep doing this, and then what I might do is fill in where the frame is with concrete just to make it look a bit more supported. What do you think? Do you like it? Apparently so. And I think we have managed it. Okay, so all I've done is replace change this all to concrete, and then beneath, like I mentioned, added the concrete foundations. I've been left with this, and then the last thing for me to do was just to delete the straight patch at the front so that we can use this as a connecting ramp. So if we probably put that in, let's do that. Now, if we remove these really quickly, because I've got a feeling we don't have enough space around here. We're going to have to start back here. Maybe that's a bit too... we'll see anyway. So from here, we can just nudge this into position, and that looks pretty clean to me. How about here? Ooh. We might have a little problem connecting these. Hey, that is it. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we've done it. Sweet. So from here, we should be able to run this, and providing we go to the halfway point and we start from the halfway point, it should look pretty clean on the spiral up. Now, I don't expect this to be perfect. Spirals, especially going upwards, are particularly difficult, but that is... I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. I think we could just maybe fill in the bottom section, make it a thick, chunky concrete support, and we just need to go all the way up to the top now, so I'll see you on the flip side. Well, I've done it. It doesn't look great because we haven't got any supports under it, but I think what I need to do here is just fill out slightly the concrete underneath and then do a inverted ramp following the whole way up, and I hope that will look good. The hardest part, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, was doing this bend here because I kept going too close to the actual cliffside and ending up clipping through, which obviously we don't want, but we will have to find a way to support the spiral going up. As you can see, I have added the train station just to the front here. I wanted to kind of squeeze this in so it looked quite compact, and the way that we've done the curve here was using a railway roundabout blueprint to get the smallest possible curve round, and then this goes straight in and then merges back onto the two line. So I'm surprised that we've managed to do it within 4 foundations, but you can see it is as planned. And next we're going to bring this around the side. I'm going to make sure that we have a storage, actually. The reason why I want the storage is just in case I don't have enough trains on the line. And we'll start off with 1 train and then we'll up it again to a point where we know that we're exporting all of the resources. So we're going to... Oh, I don't know what to do with that, actually. Maybe it would be better to bring it up like that. Let's make sure that that's upgraded as well. And then we could do that there. Not quite what I intended. I'll leave this like this for now, and I'll come back to that in a moment. The next thing that I want to do is make sure that we can take the resources around. So if we grab one of these and we nudge it, then we can do the same there. Bring that round, place that in there. That's going to separate between the two of them. And then we just fill this out, and I can add some pillars just to border this. I'll get back to this because this is going to take me a few minutes, and I do want to show you what we've been working on for the train line so far. So over here we have the inverted ramp going downwards, and I've also added a little bit of support here. We'll probably run a couple of frames like this just to make it look a little bit more supported on this point. But then this is running down. Thankfully, now that we've got the hover pack, it's much easier to build in spots like this where it's quite precarious. But if we just go over here, you can see the same system. We're going to bring this down a couple. And then from here we add just the inverted ramp, and that's going to go all the way down like so. That is still in the curve, but that is the general plan in this section. So I will continue with this, and then once we're ready to get started on the aluminium facility, I'll show you a little update. I'm very happy with how this section of the rail has turned out. I love how it wraps around, and it's also feels quite beefy. I think it might have been nice to do the same kind of beefy support on this section, but just because of the way that the smaller 1 meter ramp was blending into it, we haven't been able to do that. Maybe I'll have a look at redoing that later. As for the train station, I ended up bordering it with the pillars like mentioned, but I shifted it over just one space so that we could get that nice little curve into the input port for the train station. And I'm just really happy with how tight and clean this is. So anyway, we're going to take these down to our next location, which I've already got started on, which is this here. So we have the bauxite already being dropped off, and we also have the copper from the 2 nodes that were either side. I've started building out towards the coast, but we do need to bring in the silica and also the coal, and I need to work out which recipe to use. I think we're going to use some of the alternate recipes in this one. And one of the things that I do want to try for this particular build is the idea of having trains running within the factory. So we're going to have a second train station, which is going to bring in the silica and the coal, and that will probably be on a lower section, and hopefully it'll look quite cool seeing the trains running through. At least that's the hope. But in order to set all of that up, we need to know what recipes we're going to be using. So we're going to have to, I don't think we've got any alternative recipes at the moment. If we go with alumina solution, that gives us some silica. We'll still need to bring some in, and then it would go to, it's a scrap refinery. Yeah, aluminum scrap. And we produce 360 scrap, which then needs to go to, if I remember rightly, a foundry, and this is where it combines with silica. Yeah, to produce aluminum ingots. Now we're going to want some ingots to be produced into casing. We don't need that many, so we can worry about that a little bit later on. And we also want aluminum sheets, which need the copper ingots. Here we go. And so we'll need to produce some copper ingots as well. Let's see if we can get some cool recipes. Don't need them. No. Ooh, aluminum rod, but still not useful. There is one recipe that would be really useful, thinking about it, which they've released. And it's done in a smelter. It's called, I think it's pure. I think it's a pure aluminum ingot. And that would actually be really useful because it would knock out the need for silica. So the only silica we'd have in this build would be the production of the alumina solution. We could just sink that or store it. So I'm going to need to do some more research, I think. Do we have any? I do have hard drives on me. So with any luck, we'll find a good one. Whilst I wait for that though, I shall work on the train line. So we know even if we don't use the silica, we're still going to need copper, not copper, we're still going to need coal. So for that, we'll have to bring the, where's that snapping down there? We're going to need to bring the train line across from here. So let's find left curve, continued, let's flip it around, and then hopefully we can just nudge it across to there. And then we can use our continued rails, like so. Oh, please say we've got room for this. Oh, I think we're going to hit the cliffside. Oh, we might be okay. It is tight. We're going to have to change height though. Oh, that is as close as it gets. I don't mind it clipping into the barrier. But we could bring it up slightly and then round. We just need to make sure that we're bringing all the coal in. But then it would be really cool if we have the factory lines here to be able to see the trains going over and under. Yeah, I like it. Right, while we wait for the hard drives to be done, I'll do the rest of this. Guys, I'm so sorry. I have a confession to make. So I got so excited. I selected the recipe before showing you guys, but we do have it. So the pure aluminum ingot recipe here allows us to turn the scrap. It's not as efficient as when you use silica, but still 60 scrap to 30 aluminum ingots per minute, which is fantastic. And I also, if I remember rightly, we're sending down 600. I think we've overclocked it to 600 bauxite per minute. So based on that, we can do a little bit of maths really quickly and then start prepping the facility. So if we have 600 bauxite, that's what, 5. So we'd be producing 600 alumina solution. That's wonderful. 1-to-1 ratio makes my life easier. Then we will send the solution to scrap. We produce double the amount of solution to scrap. So we've got 600. Oh wait, maths. 600 alumina solution. I threw myself off then. It's not half the amount. It's 50% more. So if we have 600, that would mean we have 900 scrap. 900 scrap is then divided by brain work for me 30. It's going to be like 450, right? 30 900. No, no, it's 60. No, wait. Oh, I'm so confused. What are we doing? We have 900 aluminum scrap. That's going to one of these, so 15, and then times it by 30 is 450. Yeah, so it's kind of right. I got there eventually. 50, yeah, 15 times the, I'm questioning everything now. Yeah, 450 pure ingots, which we can combine with copper ingots. So it'd be 450 per minute. Wonderful. That should be enough to keep us going. So with all that in mind, we now need to work out the layout for this facility. Obviously, if we're doing some copper, we're going to want the copper over there. You know what? It would be really nice if we had the copper smelters and the aluminium smelters all together. What if we had the copper on this side and then the aluminum smelters on that side? Then we'd need to have, well, we need water for the facility. So that would be the solution over here. And then we'll set up our water pumps over here to bring the water up. We're going to need to do some recycling of water as well, because if I remember rightly, the aluminum scrap, yeah, has an output of water. So if we do it this side, these would run to the aluminum smelters, and then the water would run all the way back around, which leaves us with train station, and we can either do the aluminum sheets here or possibly down here. I don't know if we have room for 15 assemblers on this side. So if we do it that side, we have room to expand, which makes sense. So yeah, we'll do the aluminum sheets, alclad sheets down here, and then we have a little bit of room here, which we could potentially do the aluminum frames, and maybe we'll set up a priority switch system. So it's if it's on, it's producing the sheets. If it's off, it's producing the frames. Right, okay, well, I need to finish this train line and then start prepping this. So onwards and upwards. The coal train is now set up and sending coal back and forth between the facility. It's not currently running, the facility obviously. I've started setting up the lines, but as such, we're just making sure that we're getting all these resources in so that when we do set it up, we can start running it from the get-go. So let's return to the facility and check out the layout that we have set up. As you can see, I've started laying out the facility. We have the 3 refineries at the top. That's for the aluminium scrap. I'm doing everything in reverse apparently, because the next one are the refineries beneath that. That's for the alumina solution. We haven't set up the actual logistic lines for any of the processes, except for the bauxite going in and the coal and the copper. The copper smelters are on the top. I'm really happy with this because we've managed to squeeze all of the copper smelters in that tiny little space. And what's even better, we have, you can see, represented by the train here dropping off the bauxite, a line that's going to run through the whole facility. So we'll probably cover this with a glass wall eventually so that you can see the train running through the top section, and then depending on where you are, the coal on the lower section as well. To help with the logistics of everything, we have got a logistics floor underneath. It's not a very big one, but it's got enough space for the coal and also the bauxite. And with that in mind, we can start prepping the pipes and the conveyors. With the water here, we're going to need 600 entering this area. We can overclock this, or if we want to save a bit of power later, I might actually add another extractor just to the left. But this is going to take the water up to this level. And then from here, if I just grab this temporarily and run it above the line. And then what we're going to need to do is recycle the water from the other set of refineries, which are up there. They each output 100 water. So we've got 300 water, which will come in this direction, and 600 from there. One thing to bear in mind at the moment, though, is that we have some horrendous pipe bugs in game when it comes to mixing your pipes. Why can't I snap that? If I just stick that there, will it allow me to? There we go. Oh, no, it's doing something weird. It's not snapping in the right position. It's either side. How's that? There we go. So I'm just going to place all of the pipes along here. In regards to the pipe bugs, if you mix the pipes, so Mark II and Mark I variants, there is a good chance that it's not working. There's a good chance that it's not going to run as intended. So your best bet, I think we're just going to have to do it by eye. Your best bet for doing something like this with recycling is to have it all tier 2 or all tier 1. I'm also going to remove the original pipe once we've set all of these up and replace them, just to ensure that we're not having any weird bugs. The last thing we want is water problems. So now these should all be running, as we can see here, and we've got our silica that we need to worry about. So what I'm going to do is grab our Mark I lines. I think we can just, run these all the way along the top. And we will just sink this silica if we're not storing it. Add a merger in this direction. We can merge all of these together. One thing to bear in mind, though we've got the lines underneath here, these are Mark IV, so I am going to have to upgrade them once we have access to the alclad aluminum sheets. But we will take this up to probably here, and then send it off in that direction to a sink or storage. next let's think about the alumina solution. So that would have to be front of here. And then this could run, I'm gonna have to paint these as well. Could run this hopefully along here. What could possibly go wrong? How much do we need? 600, yeah, so Mark II pipe all the way around, like so. And that leaves us with the water, which will have to be, oh, we'll have to lift it up thinking about it. We'll bring the water up here and then send that back round. And then we'll have the, ooh, what are we gonna do with this? The aluminium scrap running along to, I guess under here would be the best option. But I don't know if we want to merge them all together, then send them down, or just merge them at the end. Outside of that, we'll need our pure, ooh, that will be tight. We're going to need, what, 15 did we say, of these? Oh, it's tight. It's really tight, actually. Might have to adjust this slightly because we need space for, we need space here so that it's not clipping. And we need 2 lines here, one for mergers, one for splitters, and then a third one. Because I don't think we can fit another 3. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, it's getting dark, so we are going to have to wait till daylight to continue. Oh, but that train. Look at them both. This could be really nice. So I have managed to squeeze all of the smelter aluminium ingot smelters into here. It is tight. Just required a little bit of budging over with the coal, but it works. And so we've got the aluminium ingots and also the copper ingots heading over to this area where we will be working on that next. The only thing is we're not producing anything right now because the silica output is full. So let's just quickly, temporarily place that there. We can upgrade that. Pop that in there, give ourselves a bit of power, and then just set that to any. And for now, that should turn on, and then we should start producing our aluminium. The issue here is that the water's full because these haven't been able to produce anymore because their silica has been filled. And so now, there we go, fantastic. It's like just turning on the on switch. Anyway, we're now producing that aluminium ingot. The next thing that we want to do is set up the line here, which is going to be for our alclad aluminum sheets. So for this, we're going to run, I think we can do it like this. A line going in for, say, the copper. And then we're going to do the same on a higher level. Yeah, I think that'll work actually. I quite like to have, if possible, the lines on top of one another. So we'll have to see if that works. But if we run this all the way along, and then we place power using these, it should, fingers crossed, look quite clean. Then we can run it all the way along there, and we just repeat this. How many did we need? Was it 15? I think it was 15, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't count today. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Just enough space. Okay, well that'll look good. And then we'll run mergers all the way along here, sending the aluminium alclad sheets over to the sink area there. So the next thing that we need to do, now that this is running, is just produce a few of those aluminum alclad sheets so that we can unlock the Mark V belts and then upgrade all of this because 480 isn't going to do it on a 600 line. And then, once all of this is running, we'll be able to start decorating. And here we are, sweet. So we should be able to unlock with a little bit of luck. What do we need? We need reinforced iron plates and encased industrial beams. Yeah, that's the industrial beams. We need 400 of them. And then not smart plating, reinforced iron plates are here. And oh, that's typical. I haven't connected the line up. Ah, right. I'm going to do that quickly. It's been a while since I've been to the starter factory, but we produced all of these. So we are storing the reinforced iron plates. We're just not sending them to where we need them. 5, is that 6? I think that's 600. I need to make sure that I'm sending them back to base, but we've got bigger priorities for the time being, which is unlocking this. Sweet. Okay, with the facility on and we've now got the Mark V belts unlocked, I'm just going to go over and upgrade everything, and then we can get started, hopefully, on some decoration. And though it might not be an efficient factory, we've still got plenty of resources here. Oh no. I've just realized I need to go all the way back up there to upgrade the belts. Oh well, I'll do that in a moment. So let's make sure that all of these are heading to the right location. We're going to have to drop down here. And then once everything is running smoothly, we should be able to get started on that decor. That is looking good to me. So it's time for us to start working on the decoration. I think what we could do really simply at the open section, the entrance, is to build this up and then do what we normally do with the frames, just to make it look a bit more industrial. So from here, we're just gonna nudge that in place and then zoop that up. We'll then zoop that across, remove those two, and then underneath here, do the same upwards as well. So that's looking a bit better, and then we'll work on some kind of entrance here. Just not sure what. It would be nice to have a sign actually, explaining it's the aluminium build. The next thing, I wanted to work on this section here because I like the idea of having this as a lower area and being able to look down and see the train run through it. So if we just place singles here, and then next grab, maybe we make this like the orange color that we're using. I'm kind of sticking with blue and orange for this playthrough. I just think they work so well together. If we make it shiny, then we copy and paste that. How is this going to look all the way around? I'm not sure. Maybe we need to add another section around here. And then from here, we could bring them down alternately. Just need to make sure that I get the same point every time. And we do the same on this one. I do this to myself. I don't know why I do this. I'm gonna spend hours doing this. That's better. That's much better. And we could do maybe carbon. I'm not sure about that. That looks good though. If we hide this all and I do it all the way along there, that might look quite good. Or it might look terrible. I guess I'm just gonna have to give it a go.
A few moments later.
I'll be honest, for a moment then I was doubting myself, but I'm actually really happy with how this has turned out. At this point, we're going to start to work on the wall design so that we know the kind of theme of the build. And for that, we will start over with the assemblers as we've got plenty of space to work around. With this in mind, we're going to, I think, start with playing around with these foundation steps. Don't know which one to use, whether we use that. I think this one. I think this looks better. I'm also going to change it so that it's the asphalt version. And that's just going to kind of come from the ocean. We'll run this all the way along, at least to there. And from here, I want to layer this a little bit. I quite like the reflection of windows, so if we maybe try with these along the bottom here. Yeah, I do like the reflection, the shininess of it. From here, I'm going to just layer it up a little bit. So let's grab my beam and then we'll run a pillar all the way along. And at this point, what are we going to do? Let's go with a plain glass so that we can see the assemblers working away. I think we need something to break up the two different glasses. If I place this here, can I drag that through? No. How am I going to do this? I suppose what I could do, it'll mean that we'll have to build in this area, but doing that will allow us to run that all the way across. And then from here we can start building up. We're going to need, how many? Maybe a whole foundation's worth there, followed by, let's see how it would look on the other side. If we grab the inverted corner, and then we paint that like shiny, I think that would work. Maybe we need it on the next height, like that. Then we add the ramp again and just play around with the design. But if we have that all the way along, then we could do something maybe with, let me fill this out. It's just playing around with it and seeing what sticks. The problem is it takes quite a bit of time. We can then grab our walls. And if we do kind of an opposite, kind of like that, and then we can have a support in the middle. How would that look? Could maybe add some lighting as well. Although I'm not sure, that might be pushing it a bit too far. Let's go with a shiny one of these. Just see where we run with this. Right, we could probably run that all the way along, even if this is going to be hidden. Yeah, I'm liking this. It's not quite what I anticipated when I started out. Okay, and we'll go shiny again for these little sections. Now we can go up again. It's getting dark. Tell you what, I'm going to continue playing around with this and see what we come up with. It feels almost as if it's going to be like a spine across the build, especially with this concrete pillar. Yeah, I quite like that. Okay, we'll repeat this all the way along. Try and do something on top and see how it looks. Okay, it's a new dawn, a new day, and this is what we've ended up coming up with. I've added just the little touch of orange either side and then the white here, and I think it really works. I'm really happy with that. On the inside, I've added this big frame pillar, and then there's beams on the outside. And then in here, I was thinking, I can actually run it now with you. We have, that went the wrong way. I'm going to be redoing that in a moment. Never mind. We'll just run this for now all the way through here, and I'll paint these black. And that's quite dark, but we're going to make sure that Lumen works with this. So we're going to add all the way along these billboards. So we've got a shiny billboard, and I think we'll do like this. So 2 shinies, and then a third one which will be orange. And I might repeat it on this side, but you can see how it's starting to light up, and I'm really excited with this. Let's also just do these black. The next thing that we want to do is just run a little walkway around and down here. Giving it a little bit of thought, I've reworked the orange light as the white one. I think it works better, but we still added the orange trim from our original blueprint fence wall with the orange line there, which is really nice. And it just looks a bit more cleaner and open. The next thing for us to do is to start working around the glass here so that it runs all the way along the train line. There's going to be, unfortunately, a slight cut through here, which we can't really avoid, but hopefully it will look pretty nice once done. And then I need to do some kind of ceiling to block out the natural light above. So that will be the next thing for us to do, followed by blocking out the walls. In fact, given the amount of time it's going to take, I will probably skip ahead to finishing the ceiling, because that's a bit boring, and then we can look at doing the actual inside design. Oh, that's gonna look so nice. Sweet. The ceiling took me so long to do. I've hated this. It's really nice how it's turned out, don't get me wrong, but all the different shapes, the curves, and how we're on different grids really didn't help the situation. So we've got a really weird kind of like joining over here, which I'm not too keen on, but we're just gonna have to run with it. I've done a little border around the outside, and you can see that we've got some light strips along the curve where the train runs through, which looks really good. And then you can see the train underneath, which I really like. I do think we need to do something here though. So that is the next thing for us. And the plan is to place a small billboard on every other wall. And then from here we can change this to orange, remove all of this and light it up, followed by adding a little barrier around the outside. And I think this just is going to give it a little bit more depth and a touch more detail, although I do want to just kind of blend it in a bit more. So you can see just a touch of the border around it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. On the inside here, ooh, yeah, we'll have these marking it all. Okay, that's fine. The next thing for us to do, I think there's so much to do. We have a little like area here for the bauxite now. I've lifted that up. We've got a little walkway through. And I've added just a very simple fence around the outside with the pillars, which makes this look quite clean. I'm honestly not sure what to do with this section. I don't want to just cover it all up, but at the same time I feel that we kind of need to. We can't keep it open the whole way. And then we have to do this as well. Okay, so whilst I avoid the ceiling here for a little bit, I thought we'd work on the lighting on the inside. I'm actually really happy with how this is coming about. And we've got this strip lighting it over here, but I was thinking maybe we could do this all the way along here as well. If we run this and light up all the walkways via these power sections, it's going to look really cool. So I'm going to quickly do that. In fact, we should probably start over here. Could run it all the way across. We'll just see how this is coming together. I think there should be enough light to light. Yeah, look at that. You can see it starting to light it up. That is going to look great. So I wanted to highlight parts of the build, but also the walkways. I think that's really important. Oh yeah. So that's going to run all the way down there, and then we're going to have to also do something with these lines. Come up with some kind of wall design, I think, just to block this all off. Oh, I just want to see a train come past. Is there a... I think it's this one. I think it is. Let's go the other side. Come on, moment of truth. Is it this one? It is! Look at that. So the whole point was to have the trains able to drive through. And I think just compartmentalizing this looks amazing. Look at that. Oh, I love it. That was a good call. Sweet. Anyway, back to work. I've finally finished the ceiling. We've ended up incorporating the train station into the ceiling itself, which I think looks all right. It's probably the bit that I'm least happy about with this build. I do need to sort out the power cable as well, clipping through. Just pretend you can't see that. But I'm liking that it kind of blends into the build. Flying down here with the entrance to the train, I'm really liking it. We did add the aluminum facility sign just there on the left, but I think we'll add another one on the right as well. But from here, we can just go straight through to the facility. When it comes to the lighting overhead, I think it works really well. And you can see over here, I mentioned that I wanted to highlight some of the areas. And we've done that, clipping these lights in to the refinery. Got there eventually. Then underneath, I've nudged the coated walls just into the gaps there. But I'm pretty happy with how that's come about. And in terms of other blueprints that we've used, I mentioned I wanted to do something with the wall, and here we have it. Oh wait, it isn't a blueprint. For some reason I thought I did it as a blueprint. Regardless, we have just the light and then the walkway there, and that's just going all the way around. And we've locked all of this off and added orange lighting instead of the blue one, just to give it a bit of ambience. And here, I kind of want to have the straight section go straight into the ramp, but it's not the easiest to do. I might be able to do it actually if I just do that. Can we nudge it? The only thing, actually it's going to leave a little, well, we could do it like that. Thinking about it, that would be better. But there we are. This is the build. It is done. It is running as planned. The only thing I haven't done is the little section over here, which, you know what, I'm just going to do this really quickly because all it requires is a few constructors. We'll probably flip them around, but they'll just be on the alclad sheets, and then we'll have a switch, a priority power switch, so that we can do it from anywhere in the world. And if we turn this off, it would turn off the assemblers over there, so that all of the aluminium ingots get backed up and are forced into this section. So it's going to be really simple. I don't think it's worth showing you the whole process. So I will do that now and then show you the finished project. We're back. So I have now done it. We've also added the aluminum factory sign just at the back. I think making use of that extra space works really well. And we've added some highlighting strips across the front wall and the ceiling as well, just to split it up a bit so it doesn't look so weird. But more importantly, we come through here, we now have the constructors that produce the alclad aluminum frames. Aluminum frames. And we can turn that on by just very quickly build a priority power switch. Oh, I don't have the resources. I hid it all the way over here. So you can see it's over here, just out the way. If I now turn this off as such, these all turn off, which backs up all of our aluminium, or will do shortly. And then we head all the way over here again and jump over. Here you can see, there they go. They start turning on, which means depending on what we need, we can change what this factory produces. It's been really simple to do, but I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more builds like this in the future. But now that we have the alclad aluminum sheets producing, it means that we can move on to mass production, which means in the next episode, we're going to be looking at the diluted fuel facility so that we can start producing that ready for turbo fuel and rocket fuel, which is going to be a massive build. We will be separating future builds up now into their smaller parts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up, and if you're wondering what to watch next, why not check out my video on top factory games for 2025. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and thank you so much to all of our incredible supporters on Patreon, most notably our Lunar Eclipse Patrons, Firefless, The Calamity, Ben, Star, and Seeker Kala, as well as our Blood Moon of the Day, which today is Papa Snoozy. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.